they're not afraid to say grown-ups want to see animated things too, and I feel like it's time that time has come. I'd love to be the guy that does it, but since I'm busy, somebody should.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying hard not to be a fangirl. I love everything you've done.
Fail. Don't fangirl, just that.
But which one of your projects, and which one of anything, do you geek out about?
God, I don't really geek out about my own projects. I think that would be even more narcissistic than I usually am. Maybe I'll try it. And I never know when I'm gonna geek out. I geeked out at the Saturns because they gave an award to Jonathan Banks, and ever since Wise Guy, he's been one of my total heroes, so that was the thing. You just don't know when it's gonna happen. We will never discuss meeting Bernadette Peters, because yeah, I think she's pretty attracted to me. We really hit it off. It happens at the con sometimes, just ran into Mark Silvestri. Just you see these people who are, don't do the stuff you love, but I try to keep it cool. I had lunch with George Lucas at Hooters one time, which at the time was maybe the most surreal experience of my life. At the time. And that rhythm got a little at the time. But in general, I'm incredibly calm. Mostly. Sorry, I should geek out about more things. That would be a better answer. Does somebody else want to take over?
Hi, Joss. Thank you for looking at me. Assuming that undertaking a new project wouldn't give you or your therapist a collective aneurysm, what established IP that you have not been involved with would it be your dream to work on?
Yeah, I don't really, don't have a huge answer to that. I do see things and go, I wouldn't mind making a James Bond film. That Daniel Craig's rather attractive. And my money penny would kick ass. But in general, I think the reason I don't really have an answer for that question is, and I realize the hilarious irony of the man who's making not only a sequel to The Avengers, but just made a Shakespeare film. I do feel like we are in desperate need of new content. I feel like pop culture is eating itself at a rate that is going to become very dangerous. And I'm seeing too many narratives that are just built on the resonance of recognition. It's not even nostalgia. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that from yesterday. And I think that's going to become really problematic. And although it's enormous fun to work on something I read as a child, two things, Avengers and Much Ado, I think it's really important for all of us to step back from that and create new universes and new people and new messages and new icons so that 10 years from now, we can reboot those.
Hi, I'm JJ. I almost didn't come up here because I'm not insightful and I'm terrified.
I know exactly how you feel.
But basically, one of the goals of my life was to have you perceive my existence, so now you are. And basically, I'm just gonna ask you to settle an argument I had on the internet years ago. At the end of Buffy, were Xander and Anya back together, or at least on their way to it?
No, I don't think that they weren't definitely anything. They had reached some kind of an accord. Had we continued, who knows? But we knew we were done, and he ended up with somebody else. I don't know if you've read about this. But I don't think their story, whether or not they're together, is ever really over, because I feel like those two, you know, they will plague each other forever. In the best way. In a happy way. I'm not gonna get a clap out of that one. Don't even try. Thank you.
Hi, Joss. A couple of years ago, you were floated for a project that I thought you would be fantastic on. And I wanted to know if you would reconsider going back to Wonder Woman if it happens.
No. You know, it's not a total no, but it would be very hard. For one thing, I told a story. I never actually, you know, told it the way I wanted. I wrote a version. I liked her. I liked the world. I liked the characters. I didn't feel the structure was right. Then I did an outline where I felt, okay, now I've got the structure. I'm ready to go again. And they were like, yeah, what if he didn't? And so there isn't like, you know, a piece out there that I'm like, boom, I nailed it. She's a tough nut to crack. I don't like to go back to things so much, and I also feel like, you know, there's, again, plenty of room for a new iconic female heroine, so let's look to the future. She's called Muffy. I got nothing.
Hi, Joss. I saw the pilot for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it was awesome. I guess my question would be, will Kobe Smulders be a series regular since How I Met Your Mother is ending this year?
We don't have that plan. We can't afford her. But we do hope to see her again. That much I can say. Right now she's got a whole, you know, show to shoot, and then she's also been appearing in films, and so, you know, I don't know that she'd want to tie herself down to a TV series, but hopefully she will grace us with her presence some more.
Hey, I'm Taylor. So I kind of feel like my question's coming out of left field a little bit.
Oh, unlike all the others, okay.
No, yeah, exactly. But basically, Dark Horse does some really sweet comics, like Star Wars and Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, you know, they've published a lot of the works you've worked on before, but would you ever turn one of their things into something? I'm thinking Avatar: The Last Airbender, live-action movie. I know you don't have time, but sometime.
No. Again, you know, there's a way into any story, and those stories have a lot of juice. But is the world ready for a Hellboy movie? I don't think so. But I'm trying to get through this without saying the phrase "create my own juice" because I just think that's not going to end well for me. But you know, I'm not looking to anybody else's properties. The last time I can remember, I actually went, "Oh my God, I want to make a show of this." Was when I read Global Frequency, and then I found out somebody already was, and it didn't happen. But that was. So it's very seldom that I go, I've got to put my spin on this. I'd like to put my spin somewhere else. None of these are working. All of my metaphors are drying up. But you're watching it happen. You're seeing the end of a career. People are like, he's at the peak of his powers. I'm like, oh, so strap on the skis, because I guess we're going downhill from here.
Holy crap, it's really me. So, with the Avengers being so impressive, with melding so many big characters, and with adding things like Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch coming in here, and with such a massive universe out there in the comics, if we could kind of say, screw the legal stuff, what Marvel characters do we want in the future? Would you like consider adding? Which one of the Avengers do you want down the line?
Oh, you mean like of the new Avengers? I'd take them all. Are you kidding? Spider-Man, Wolverine, Luke Cage, let's just get them all in the house. Then I would shoot myself because I have 20 characters to write instead of. I just want to make a movie about one person, ever. God, you have no idea how hard it is. My life is rough. Okay, I'm done.
Hi, my question is, we all know that Firefly has ended in a TV series and movie, but were you ever thinking of expanding on the universe you had built for Firefly in like a new TV show or comic series?
Yes. I've thought about it. We've done some comics. Gonna do some more. And I've thought about other TV series that could have been spun off it, and that whole universe still intrigues me. It's always a question of time. It's in my mind, it's brilliant. So is S.H.I.E.L.D. Now we have to make it. Okay? Somebody shut my mind down. No, shut them all down.
Hi.
Hey.
This is a rather specific question, but my favorite episode of Buffy is Normal Again, when she's in the mental institution. And I was just wondering where that idea came from, or like how it existed.
Where did that come from? It came from, a lot of different places. We had for years wanted to do a Buffy's in a mental institution. It was all a sort of episode as a teaser. We're like, what a great teaser! What comes next? Crickets for like 3 years. My sister Diego, who wrote it, he cracked the idea, and for me it became fascinating because it was about the creative process to an extent. Positing the idea that she had created this world meant that we could examine the world we had created, and we could talk about it in a fourth wall way, but not in an obnoxious fourth wall way, not in a winking at the camera, but really sort of like, how does this make sense? Which not only is fun for the show, where some things don't make so much sense, but also for, that sort of existential moment in your life where you're like, really? This is my family? This is what I look like? This is what we eat? This is just all very weird. And I don't understand how we got here. And the idea of leaving it open to question. Was this all, was this whole series in somebody's snow globe, or did it really go down? And it was fun for me. I did try to put in a line when I was doing the X-Men for Scott Summers to say that he had a second cousin in a mental institution who thought she fought demons. But I couldn't come up with a conversation to slip it in.
Hi, I was wondering what your process is for taking your overall visions and then breaking them down to your scenes and the minute details to bring your story to life.
A lot of the overall vision comes from the minute. It comes from the moments. It comes from, the little tugs and little pops and little ideas. Oh, this would be sad, tragic, interesting, but it's hard to say. I wish there should be flying ships, and the whole world should be clouds, and then trees should talk. And you can't, I'm sure there are people who create beautifully that way. For me, I'm really starting small. I'm somebody in that world, and I want to know what they're going through. And so I actually build from the inside out. The grand vision, the scope, the universe, that's usually coming from one person or one relationship.
Hello, Joss. Oh, wow, I look good up there.
This is open mic night. This is great.
my question is, in the Avengers, we have characters that are so different. We have gods, we have millionaires with robotic suits. How did you manage to put them all into one film and sort of make it work?
You sound like Tim Gunn. Make it work. I think the appeal of the Avengers is that it doesn't work. And so just everybody knowing that going in, knowing that Iron Man and Thor should never have a conversation, means that when they do, we can have the fun of them knowing it too. So you're sort of inoculated against the absurdity by the fact that the people in that world recognize the absurdity. The other thing for me, it took me a while to realize this, I think, is because a lot of people were like, the Avengers was supposed to suck. You know that, yeah, and it was like a very slim chance of it not sucking. And I thought about that for a while. And it occurred to me that I grew up reading the book and also read it in my later years when they did the Ultimates. And my whole childhood with these people hung out. They were in my vernacular. It was completely normal for worlds that didn't, go together to go together. Like Howard the Duck, not the movie. We're all clear on that. Was a great subversive book, about how none of this stuff goes together. There was a commentary on Marvel Comics and on how we see the world and politics and all this cool stuff. And, all of those juxtapositions, my favorite books were the team-up books where, Spider-Man or The Thing would team up with somebody different every week. And I realized that meant, I think a lot of directors in some superhero movies that don't necessarily work as well, they have to talk themselves into it. They have to say, well, I guess I can find a way into this character